Hey, I gotta say, when you go back and watch films, you always talk about that. Are you ever surprised, or is it more reinforced sometime? Is there a surprise ever that pops out?
Well, it depends. Like recently, when I was watching film, there are things that happen that I don't always see. And the play in Minnesota, to be quite honest, when I saw what happened after the dunk, I was taken aback by the fact that one check was given to CB and only one check was given to Rudy Gobert after seeing what happened. So that's an example when you watch film. I didn't see all that in the extracurricular activities there. But then there are times where, you're watching a play and you may not see something that's happening on the backside, things that we can clean up. And, but you'll usually have a pretty good feel, but that's why film doesn't lie. That's why you got to watch the film to get the real story. And that's why it's such a valuable coaching tool, because you can show your players and they're saying, no, I did this. And when you watch the film, well, film don't lie right there. So we use it a lot. It helps me, it helps our players, and I think it speaks for itself.
You've talked about Julian kind of being a bright spot in terms of productivity and efficiency off the bench. He's done that on pretty low volume so far, which he said he's trying to be almost intentional about instead of, I guess, just trying to get a volume number of threes up in particular. What's kind of the balance for you in talking to him about wanting to keep to that mindset of improving the shot selection maybe from last year versus him being a guy who the bench might need to rely on more as a scorer this season?
Yeah, I mean, for him, it's all about efficiency. Could he come out here and just, jack more shots? Of course he could. But right now, the most impressive thing about Julian, and when you look at it, is how efficient he has been from the field, from the three. Obviously, I told him today, if he fouls another jump shooter, we're going to have a real conversation in the back. But, I want him to be aggressive. We run plays for Julian. We want him to be a guy that we can go to with that second unit. And with Jamal out, obviously, Russ can't play 48 minutes. So CB and Julian will be guys that we use as kind of that backup combo guard, depending upon lineups. But he has put so much time, Bennett, into his craft, into working on his game to be more efficient. I knew the numbers from last season were not indicative of the shooter that Julian Strawther is. I knew those numbers would improve, and obviously very early in the season, but they are improving, and I have a ton of confidence in him.
Having seen the Raptors so recently, what kind of was the takeaways from last time to tonight's game that you're going to focus on?
Well, it would be three areas, and these are three areas that they are either first or second in the NBA, and they totally dominated us. They had 74 in our paint, and they averaged 60 a night in the paint, which leads the NBA, but 74 is a crazy number to give up. They had 20 in transition. Once again, I believe they're second in the NBA in fast break points per game. That's where they're at their best. They play hard. They got guys out, but R.J. Barrett, he leads the NBA in fast break points per game right now. So he leads, and they as a team are just tremendous in the open court. And I think often, a lot of times, their best offense is a missed shot. They had 22 second chance points against us. So when you go 74, 20, and 22, you ask yourself, well, how the hell did we win that game? And we had numbers that were very close to that. And obviously we have Nikola Jokic. And Scotty Barnes was injured in that game, and obviously unfortunate injury, but that definitely helped us in an overtime game. So obviously defending the paint, getting back in transition, giving them one shot will be really critical to us trying to get another win against Toronto.
Mike, is there any signs of your team beginning to shake off maybe it's early season rust and begin playing to the character you've become accustomed to?
Yeah, I believe so. That's why you don't get too high, you don't get too low, you don't overreact. Especially when you think about our team and the fact that you're adding two new pieces in Russ and Dario. You've moved a bench player into the starting lineup and who's been outstanding in Christian Brown. And then obviously you're trying to play Julian and Payton, two young players off the bench. And things take some time. But I do believe that OKC got us. I look at the two losses against the Clippers and Minnesota as eerily similar in terms that we're up in the fourth quarter and we did not close the deal, which we're so used to us doing. And then we've beaten, some teams that have been really close games, and That's why the Utah game was great, to be able to rest our guys in that fourth quarter. But I do feel that we're getting into a rhythm. Unfortunately, Jamal is out now, obviously, for the next couple of games, likely with the concussion. But, yeah, every day I think we're getting better, and that's one of our micro goals, is to get better every day.
Michael, I think this 5-game homestand matches your longest of this season. I guess what's the most important thing you guys can accomplish in these next 4?
Beat Toronto. Yeah, I mean, like, it's, for us, I know it's cliche, Vinny, but taking it one game at a time, obviously. And then after that, obviously, we know we have some really talented teams coming in here. The OKCs, Miami, Dallas, I believe, to finish this homestand. But, I know, Scott said after last game, it was so good to finally get a home win. And he's right. And that's one of the things that shocked me about looking back on that Minnesota series. We lost 3 games at home. That's never happened to us. So, and then to lose our first 2 to start the season. So we have to make this place a tough place to play, and try to dominate as many games at home as we can.
Coach, off the bench, the ball is often finding Payton Watson in situations where I don't know if the defense is funneling it there or if Russ is just looking for him intentionally, very consistently. He hasn't hit the open shots so far. What goes into helping him become more comfortable as the season goes on with those shots?
Yeah, I think for Payton, obviously he's really struggled from the field and from 3, but he's done a good job from the free throw line. He has to play with an attack mindset. I think early in the season, I think he's getting better with that, Ryan. I think first couple of games, he was just so willing to go to the three-point line and shoot the open shot. And it's a fine line of, yeah, you're open, but as young and as athletic as he is and dynamic as he is, he should be putting pressure on the basket, whether that's in transition, whether that's in the half court as Russ is penetrating or the ball is moving, work behind the defense, put pressure on the rim, get on the offensive glass. But I'll end by saying this. For Payton Watson, it's always got to start with his defense. Offense is great, but for him, he's got to be defend, rebound, run. That order. Then everything else after that is gravy. And I know sometimes players in general, well, why do I have to be a role player? Don't be a role player. Be a role star. Knock it out of the park, man. Be the best you can be in your role for this team to help us be the best team that we can be.
Last one, Matt, go ahead. Go.
Yeah, you mentioned Christian. Sorry about that. You mentioned Christian a second ago. When you're evaluating his play, do you look at it as an extension of what he was doing last year, and he's just playing with the starters, or is it more of he's doing things out there on the floor that he wasn't doing last year?
Well, I think yes. I think part of it is he's playing with probably the best 4-man lineup in the NBA last year, maybe the last 2 years, and so there's a great benefit to that. But then you also have to give Christian a lot of credit for how well he's playing, how efficient he's playing. The thing I'm most proud about is that he is shooting that 3-point shot with confidence. Make, miss, doesn't matter. He's shooting the next one. The game in Toronto, he hit a really big one. Against Utah, it was good to see him make a couple of threes. So he plays with an attack mindset. He's shooting the open shot. And then obviously, defensively what he's going to give you every single night. So it'd be easy to say, yeah, he's just benefiting from playing with Nikola. But no, he's bringing his own, what do they say in kindergarten? You got to bring something for everybody. He's bringing something to the party, too.